Hi, I'm Kiruba Shankar and welcome to the Kiruba Show, the show where we speak with inspiring and enterprising individuals in the corporate space. In this episode, we are having a conversation with Mr. GRK Reddy, CEO of MARG Group, a company that is one of the major players in the Indian infrastructure and development space. Mr. GRK, a lot of us are inquisitive about your early life. Can you walk us through your childhood?
See, I was born in 61 in place called Vijayawada in AP. See, the first say 10 years of my childhood. When I was born, my father was working in Nagarjun Sagar in Guntur district, the dam. So we were practically living in the site. And so the first standard, up to the 5th standard or up to 10th standard, up to 15 years age, I think mostly in the rural areas only, the Nansagar Dam. It's a very big project and it has the left canal, right canal, and it has a lot of aqueducts to stock the water and release it to the. So I think it's about 6 sites we have moved in up to my 10th standard till I am at 15 years age. After that, it's an intermediate and the graduation. That's in Vijayawada. That's an urban area. So take the first 15 years in absolutely rural areas where it's the project sites.
I see a pattern. You spent most of your childhood in construction sites because your dad was an engineer. Now you are into construction as well. Has your early life influenced your current life?
I feel there will be, because it's at the time I used to be with my father because we are 3 of us and we had only age gap of 1 year. So it's difficult for my mother to handle all the 3 kids. So I used to be most of the time with my father. So he used to take to the sites, and still I remember the tunnels and the dams, which lot of excavators and all those big machineries used to be there. I think that certainly may be the reason for me to really look into the today's comfort level on doing a port or a large infrastructure projects. I think that certainly will have a. I still remember when I was a child, I had done the model of the dam in the front of our house, with practically building all the things with doing a small concrete slabs and all. I think that certainly has an impact.
And so after schooling?
Yeah, after the schooling, intermediate and graduation is in Vijayawada. Vijayawada, that's again, that's the first time I think we moved to a urban area. Till first 15 years is mostly, even in the holidays, we used to go to my mother's place or my father's place. Again, they're all village atmospheres. And even our schools are far away, I remember we used to walk almost 2 to 3 kilometers to go to the schools. Because project sites, schools are far away and schools doesn't have much of, infrastructure. And we used to be moving with the local village children. So there, there are very different, they do swimming in ponds, they get onto the trees and they don't have any fear in their mind. So I used to really enjoy going them and jumping into the water and, catching fish and, doing a meal or getting onto the trees and getting those gums for to paste it on those things. a lot of things, and going on like the cows or buffaloes, they're all part of absolutely in a rural system. So in first, I think 15 years I was grown in that. And then first time was when I came to Vijayawada. that was a time when really the urban side of the story, everything was different compared to there.
What did you study for your undergraduation? Walk us through your education as well.
I did my BCom, and I think same way in intermediate also you took the civics and commerce, and that's the big shift from rural areas to urban areas.
I'm seeing this present scenario where a lot of youngsters coming from rural areas have this inferiority complex because they're not able to communicate properly. They feel they're not getting good education. You as a person who's lived through that and you've come out successfully in your present life, what sort of an advice would you give it to such people from the rural areas?
See, today I think they should feel superior to the urban people because the attitudes for them in terms of risk taking abilities, and they live in a atmosphere of togetherness. Typically in a village, everybody comes together for celebrations, everybody knows each other. So a lot of love, compassion, faith. I think the core personality is very strong in the rural area people. And as far the communication skills are concerned, I think their body languages they'll be able to communicate. And today, if you see the real successful people, I think 70 to 80% come from that, whether in political life or in a social life or in a industrial life. I think because they are not born up in a structured environment. They're born and brought up not in a structured environment. In a very environment where they cannot predict. That's the very great attitude which they have. I think they need to nurture with little bit of a communication skills. In fact, I didn't study in any of English medium schools. All along my career, it's mostly on a Telugu medium schools.
Really?
And it was only when I went to my graduation, it was in English medium. Till that time, it's all on a Telugu medium schools. And people will be able to cope up. Even I can speak Hindi very well because it's after graduation. I did my post graduation in Delhi. So it's as people say, the first 15 years, your upbringing or environment will shape up the person.
Sure.
Certainly.
In terms of character.
In terms of character, in terms of attitudes, in terms of the mental load what a person can take as one goes forward.
Talk us about your first job. What is your first job and talk us through that experience?
My first job was in Delhi, where in fact I've been to Delhi primarily to look for a career in IAS.
Did you say IAS?
Yeah, Indian Administrative Service, because that was in rural areas when we lived in, the person who is most charmed is the collector. So
that's right, because he has this car and there are people with that turban and everything.
Mostly
and that guy.
he's the person who is, for every problem, he is the solution. People look at him for everything, So that was the image, and planning to become a collector. So the aspiration was there. Then after the graduation, then to become study better in IAS means you need to be in Delhi. That was the thing. So I just moved to Delhi without realizing, what it is. And so when there, I've seen the IAS officers in the kind of a climate in Delhi was totally different. Then I realized, this is not really, we'll not be able to, maybe first 5 years as a collector, the charm will be there. I think after 5 years, when they really get into the other side of the government, I think the impact they will be able to create is marginally less than what we have seen in. So then I decided not to